we got the whole scene done, but now I'm naked in a van at the train station. So this somebody's going to get arrested.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. My name is Talal, and you're listening to the Popcorn and Soda Podcast, the show where we discuss all things movies, pop culture, and so much more. I want to thank each and every one of you for making me a small part of your day. On today's show, we're joined by a very special guest. He's one of the finest creative artists in the industry today. You've seen him on projects such as Ray Donovan, The Artist, and you know him best as Azamat Bagatov in the pop culture phenomenon BORAT, a character that continuously stole the show every time he was in a scene. With the movie celebrating its 15th year anniversary, it continues to inspire a whole new generation of creatives. On the show today, the very talented Mr. Ken Davitian. How are you, Ken?
I'm good. I'm good after 2 years of pandemic and all of this stuff. We're fine compared to a lot of other people.
Well, that's good to hear, Ken. And let's dive into that. It's been such a crazy 2 years, especially as someone who's in the creative arts as yourself. Personally, just with the entire industry just kind of shutting down for the last year and a half and just slowly getting back on its feet, how did the last 18 months look like for you?
Boring. It was, and there's always somebody with, oh, let's do this on YouTube and let's do this. And I'm going, where is it going to lead to? I don't need to practice. I need to do something, and I need to do it in front of an audience or a camera. Who's working? Nobody. I did 1 2-hour Uber driver for a movie that Snoop Dogg was producing, and we shot it about 2 months ago, and that's the only thing I've done, and I got paid well, but it was only 2 hours, and I'm bored, and so here comes my son and my business partner, and they got a great idea. I says, what's your great idea? And you want me to get involved to this great idea, right? I got to put my name here. So what's your great idea? We're going to drop a crypto coin. Oh, okay. Yeah. How do you do that? So these 2 guys ended up getting 10 other guys, and they're all young as you, if not younger. And we've created something called COINFLIX. So COINFLIX is a community, and if you buy the token, then your script can be read by anybody that has tokens. And at the end of the year, we will pick one movie to co-produce with the money in the coin and whoever's project is the best for that situation. And hopefully we continue because I told them, you want to do a coin, I don't want to do a coin that just makes money for people, that like Bitcoin, it's a great, whatever it is, I don't know, but it makes, and then it's gone, and then I want something that's good for people. And we came up with the script, and you guys show your scripts, and there could be somebody that Spielberg could own COINFLIX and read it just for the hell of it. And after he reads it, he thinks, oh, I want to do it. There's a lot of things can happen, but I just wanted to help the industry because for 2 years, nothing is going on. So, and I have 3 movies that haven't even come out. Mr. Mayfair. So hopefully that's going to do because it's no accent, no anything. I'm playing me, and I'm a mobster. Ooh. And I sing, And I beat the holy heck out of somebody with a hammer. I just beat him, and then they brought the pillow part where now they're throwing blood on my face, and I'm beating this guy. And 10 minutes later, I'm at Mr. Mayfair singing with Stephen Bauer and Armand Desante. These
Well,
two
hey.
wannabe Sinatras.
Well, hey,
So,
that sounds awesome. That sounds great. And I'm glad that over the last 18 months, you've been really productive, it sounds like. And not even that, the
oh,
fact that you have your health. I'm really happy to hear that.
health wise, everything's fine except I fell down at Soho House, and I don't know, man. The whole left side was black and blue, and then I fell down 2 days ago again, and now I'm going to a doctor to see what is going on here. But boredom, and boredom brought the coin, and the coin now is worth. It's only been a month. It's worth 3 cents, and we've already got associations connected with partnerships where they will take coin in lieu of money for renting equipment or renting space or anything that we can do for the industry. If they will accept coin, then people can get things done. So we're trying.
That's great, Ken. That's great. And I feel like the way the world's progressing, it's really neat that a creative artist like yourself and your son, you came up with this great idea in order to just help the entire industry all together. So that's awesome. And
Yeah,
before we
I
deep
hope it
dive,
does.
hey, fingers crossed for that. I believe in this project. It sounds great. Before we deep dive into all your work, Ken, I always love to hear people's stories in their own words. You've had such a consistent career in Hollywood throughout the decades, on TV and on the big screen. Where does this all begin for you, Ken? What were some of your early influences that made you want to be in the creative arts?
My grandfather, when he came to this country about after the Armenian genocide, uh, with my grandmother, they started a waste removal company, which was people put out a little barrel of trash, you pick it up for 50 cents. And that business became quite lucrative here in Southern California because it was almost all run by Armenians that knew each other. So there wasn't a lot of infighting. There was, it's kind of like The Sopranos. Uh, and people didn't take accounts that belonged to other people, and we all worked together. And these guys were hardworking garbage men. My grandmother was an actress. She played in the first Armenian talkie movie. She also did a lot of extra work in the cowboy days when they had the singing cowboy and stuff. I got pictures of all of this stuff. And I remember some lady asking me when I was running up and down the Ebell Theater in Los
Mhm.
Angeles, well, what are you doing here? I says, well, I'm going to be an actor. And I can't remember, it was 8 years old. And then at 13, I was in junior high school and I was the lead in everything because they didn't really have anything. I lived in East LA. So they were like, what? You want to get in front of people? And I ditched class every time I could just so I could go and be in the theater and do different plays and stuff. And we would call. Now they're having auditoriums full of people coming because I'm funny, and that's what I kept doing. I went out for football for 20 minutes, and they gave me this ball. And everybody came after me to get the ball. So I put the ball down. I said, goodbye, you guys. I'm going to the theater. Where if they come after me for the ball, they don't really hurt me.
Mm.
So uh, that was it. She was my inspiration. And then I had a couple of good mentors in the business. I went to a East Side West Side uh, drama competition at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. And for a guy from East LA and his parents don't speak English, this is a big deal. So MC was a guy named Marty Ingalls, and he had a show called Ingalls and Spencer or something. It was a half-hour comedy. Anyway, I got to know him and I hung around with him, and he was really cool. And uh, one of the early movies I did was Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey,
Yep.
and that's where I learned you better stay in character, buddy, because that's the way that it was. It was that way. It was awesome. I learned a lot on that set. And Milos Forman was the director, and the guy has passed away since, but he was great. He was great. It's a lot of thing of fun and learning. I when I did the Ray Donovan, I had a guy that was playing my nephew, and good-looking young 24-year-old. Are we done yet? When do we get out of here? How long do we stay? I said, listen, guy, didn't you go to school for this? Isn't this what you wanted to do? Yeah. Well, shut up and do it. I mean, everybody's got something else that they want to do. I don't know. I love this business. I'm a ham.
The entertainment industry, as you're mentioning, it's such a roller coaster where creative artists, they have the highs of the highs, and you'll have times you'll have the lows of the lows. Personally, what's one thing you wish you knew at the very start of your career that you know now?
One thing I would,
That you wish you knew at the very start that you do know now about the industry and how this all works?
you want me to say this on live recorded? Uh, there's a
Sure.
lot of scrupulous, is that the word? People in
Sure,
this.
we'll take it.
Okay.
Okay,
I,
expand on
I
that. Yeah.
learned uh, a lot from people that tried to take a lot. And they're out there, and they're not talented. They're people that say, hey, you need help, I can help you, and this is how I can help you, and then you get involved. And it's sad because there's so many people say, hey, listen, I can put you in my movie, or I'll get this for you, and it's all it's not real. People don't understand that the reality is it's a business and it makes money, and if you're standing in the way of it making money, it will go right over you. And that's the capital system. And I like it. If I'm not doing as good, then I got to go find out what the hell you're doing right. And I want to do it. So you got to have that desire and that incentive. But I'm lazy, and this is the best thing I know how to do. It's it's very I don't the thing I everybody hates is auditions. I got 2 auditions I got to do today. I hate auditions. I would like to be offer only, but we'll see.
Well, Ken, like, let's be real. Like, let's be one thing you said right there was very fascinating and interesting that I found is you said you have to continuously keep learning. You need to have that growth mindset. And you mentioned if I'm not doing something right, I want to know what the next person's
Yeah,
doing right so I can do that. And I think that's something that is rare in today's society in general, whether it's the arts or not. A lot of people have that I just want it now mentality without having to really go out there, put in the days, the nights, the years to get it. So I think that's great advice for any upcoming creative artist.
I'm. I push education a lot. I don't understand the people that have come here from Connecticut, Ohio, the Ukraine, Japan. Somebody told them, "Hey, you were good. You should go to Hollywood," and they come. I don't understand. A guy stopped me at a jazz night 5, 6 years ago. Hey, I think I want to be an actor. How do you do it? What? I said, what do you do now? I'm in construction. Do you know what nail has to go on what wood? I mean, like it's a certain size. Oh yeah, if you put the wrong nail, it breaks at that. And you learned that, didn't you? I says, well, go learn something about acting. They don't pay you that kind of money if you're stupid. So you got to know what you're doing. But I want to do this as a hobby. How difficult can it be? It's difficult. It's difficult to be reel with 250 people staring at you and a camera. But that's the job. If you can't do it, get out. That's what my college professor used to say. If you can't do it, get out. We'll get somebody else. So no, I like what I'm doing. And I think people should go to school and get every thing that you can get to put in your arsenal just to go to an audition and see if you can get the job. Because after you get the job, then it's easier, but it's so satisfying. It's really satisfying. Like I went all the way through and now I got the job. So I kind of like it. But I was in the garbage business till I was 35. We had 6 garbage trucks. When my father gave it to me, he gave me $2,700 gross a month of customers. When I ended it, I had 150,000 gross a month customers. I made more money in the garbage than I have in the acting, if you all of it put together. Rubbish was good. It was hard work, but it was good. It was honest, hard work. This is what I wanted to do. In fact, I've given a proposal to the country of Armenia about 5 years ago to build a studio. I want to build a Warner Brothers giant, serious business studio where I don't want my name on it. I want it to help the country sustain its livelihood. They don't have anything over there, really. They don't have oil, which everybody else has. So I thought a studio would be a great idea. So I'm working on that. I came back from shooting Mr. Mayfair in October. And I wrote a treatment in August, October 2020. No, it was 2019. I wrote a treatment about my granddaughter and my wife, and they have this great relationship. And in the treatment, the character that played my wife passes away, and me and the granddaughter go to Armenia to spread the ashes because that was her last wish. And there's a 104-year-old mother-in-law who gets me arrested because I killed her daughter and brought her back in a jar, which is commonly called an urn. And the little girl gets me out of jail. It's very touching, but it's very funny. And when I gave it to my wife, she read it. She says, "How come the grandmother has to die?" And I said, "Because Grandpa's the movie star." As soon as I got the script back, my wife passed away on January 1, 2020. And that made this script the highest priority and passion project. And I got a 6-year-old who's going, "What's going on with my movie?" Just calm down. It takes a while. Yeah. But we're working at all of this stuff. And it's good to have people like you to tell people that we are working. Because apparently in Borat 2, they thought I was dead.
Well, yeah, that's going to be a subject of conversation we're going to have here shortly. Before we go further, my condolences to you and your family. I know the difficulties of going through a loss like that, but I really like the sound of the screenplay that you have, and I'm looking forward to maybe one day watching this on the big screen. I think stories like this that are very human and interpersonal, I think that's the true medium of cinema, is stories from everyday people who have loss in their life, people have laughter in their life, joy, all the things that make up this
everything
crazy thing called life.
You know, and you have to be able to balance it. And you have to be able to see what is it that's good for you and what's not. If this is going to play anywhere, tell your audience, I need to meet 3 people. 1, I want a Kardashian to play my daughter because she's Armenian. 2, I would like to have my greatest wish would be have Barbara Streisand play my wife and direct the film, or Cher play my wife. Cher's half Armenian. Everybody I've said this to have said, "Are you out of your mind?" No. Why can't I have a big wish? So, if you know anybody that knows anybody that knows anybody, and in our case, that knows anybody that knows one of those people, let me know.
Well, hey, yeah, to everyone listening, whoever may come across this specific part of the interview, pass it along if you know any of these people that Ken just mentioned. And you know what, Ken? I respect that because I think people don't dream big enough in today's society. They don't. And I like what you're doing with that. I do.
No, you have to, because there's so many things that reduce it that's out of your control. So you have to think big, but you have to be positive, and it has to be logical. It has to work. And some people tell me, "Oh, it's funny." That's what. No. Comedy has to be grounded in reality. If there's no reality, then it's not really. It's a prank. It's a joke. It's not a real life funny. And I like real life funny. It's you can't make it up. So
that's true. That's true.
But yeah, anybody that knows any of those, I'm looking for somebody to play my daughter. And I think Kim Kardashian, after I saw Saturday Night Live, I think she'd be great. And Kathy Bates is somebody that could play my wife, but Cher and Barbara Streisand are like way out of my league. You know, that'd be like playing with Brady. But if it can happen, you never know. If I don't say it out there, what if her husband, Barbara's husband, he's a director and an actor. What if he says, "Hey, you do the movie and I'll direct it"? I don't know. Who knows what can happen?
Who knows? So hey, here's hoping that movie gets made because it sounds great. So let's transition into one of your all-time greatest projects, Ken. And you have the distinction of being in quite possibly one of the greatest comedies and films of the 21st century, and that's the original Borat. Truly a paradigm shifting movie in this medium because of how it was presented. And as I mentioned up top, it's celebrating its 15th year anniversary this year. So let's dive into all things Borat, Ken. Your role
old.
as no, not at all. No,
not at all. Some kid's calling me up telling me I did a movie 15 years ago. And I'm not old.
Well, your role as Borat's producer, Azamat Bagatov, to me is equally as important to the success of that first movie as much as Sasha Baron Cohen. Some of the most memorable scenes in that movie involve the two of you. So let's dive in chronologically, Ken. How were you originally approached for this
How
film?
honest do you want me to be?
Oh, I want the 100% real Hollywood story on the show right now, Ken. I want
Let me see details. Where my NDA is. Let's see what I signed that I couldn't talk about.
Did you personally know Sasha? What was the original concept of the film that was pitched to you?
And I've said this a million times. My son is a writer, and he wanted me to work with Larry Charles. We had no concept and no idea who that other guy was. I don't watch Ollie G. I have a godson who thought he was funny, but not my taste. So I never knew. I was going to try to get a job so I could be directed by Larry Charles, because Larry Charles was part of Seinfeld and part of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and my kid idolized him. So we called probably 20, 25 times, and they kept saying, "We know Ken Davitian. He's an American actor. We're looking for all this other stuff." So we called, and luckily we called on the day of callbacks, and it was they were setting it up. So it was an associate that picked up the phone, and I started talking to her. "Hello, I want to come make how you say audition you know? Oh, okay, sir, where are you from? I am from Armenia. Oh, okay. What's your last name? And I thought, okay, now I'm going to say the last name. She's going to recognize that it's the American actor. So, but I'm not going to lie. So I spelled my name out, and I said it like Davitian, not Davitian. And she said, well, you sound foreign enough. And I went in, and about 4 of the guys were people I'd worked with before, Middle Eastern. We did commercials and stuff.
Sure.
Ollie was one of them. There was a lot of guys. They all came to me and went, "Why are you dressed like that? You really want this part?" Because they had no idea. Nobody did what was going to happen. And I said,
True.
"Get away from me. Don't talk to me. Yes, I really want the part because I want to work with Larry Charles." So I stayed in the bathroom until they called me, because all the guys are all their friends. I didn't want to start talking. I stayed in the bathroom. Then I went upstairs when they called me. And I remember Larry Charles saying, "Can you ad lib?" And I said, "Oh, you mean adding 1, 2, 3?" And I heard Dan Mazer, the producer from London. And he said, "How the blank did he get over the gate?" Which is like, what's this guy doing here? And then they said, no, not adding like that. Can you improvisation? And I said, oh, improvisation, I take it in classes now. Yeah, I know, just talking. And they were cracking up, and but they really thought I was an old crazy Azamat Bagatov. But they called Sasha, and Sasha came down, and me and him started doing stuff. And I remember there's a tape of the audition, and I remember I was describing Linnell to him, and I said, a lady downstairs, she wants to come up, so big, and then he put his hands up like this, and I pulled him out. No, like this. And we bantered for about 10 minutes. And I said, you good boy, Sasha, I want to work your movie. And I got to the door, and I said, all right, guys, thank you very much for the audition. If you like it, please call my agent. And Larry Charles got up and said, you fraud. I said, yeah. He says, you know how many times people tried to fool us? You're the first one. So that's it. After that, it was 2 months of good work, getting stuff done, and then we weren't talking, and we haven't since.
All right. So, that's interesting. So you guys start filming the movie. Ken, can you break down what a day on set was like for this movie? Because it's not your traditional movie with
No.
it's really
What
not. So can you just talk about that? Yeah.
What I had, when they hired me for 60 grand, and I was supposed to will show with his and maybe half a face. We just don't want him driving alone. So you're driving. So when we got to our first shoot, which was in DC, I asked Larry, how do I get in the movie? And he says, I don't know. Be dressed, ready at 6 o'clock every morning, and we go out. And if he uses you, he uses you. I can't, because there was no. It was funny. Golden Globe gave us an award for screenplay. I didn't see no screenplay. I didn't see anything written down. Just naked. And I said, what's this? You're gonna be naked. Oh shit, yeah, come on. No, it was an interesting month and a half. And then they sent me back home, and the studio called and said, where's Ken? So that's when they told the studio, hey, we paid the guy 60 grand. I mean, and we sent him home, and They said, bring him back. It's a buddy movie. And apparently that wasn't taken quite well, but we still did our work. My job in my brain was how to make this movie better. Is there a way? Is there something I could do that would enhance the film? And a lot of people told me I did. So that was my job, is to make sure that if there's a feather getting away, that I catch that feather, and that feather is one person of an audience that laughs. Just you don't want to lose that thing.
Mhm.
So I always thought, I told him I would be his Ed McMahon for the rest of my life. I don't need to be the star. Just let's do the work. But I don't know. I remember about 5-6 years ago, his new people from CAA called and said, if you come to Jimmy Kimmel and do a skit with Sasha, then we will send him to a retreat to write Borat 2, and you will get your $5 million that people said that's where we're going to pay you. So I went and I said, this skit isn't going to work. And I was told, like every other time, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I said, you don't know the influence that we have. And you're doing a skit telling people not to go see the movie. It's going to resonate not to go see the movie. So the movie opened up in 2,300 theaters, and the gross weekend box office was $3.5 million. So 2,300 theaters. So apparently that's my fault too. I don't know. So, but I didn't think it was a good, all he kept saying is Sasha Baron Cohen created Trump, and now he's created this movie. I don't even know what the name of the Brothers Grimm.
Brothers Grimsby, right? Brothers Grimsby.
Yeah. And
Mark Strong and Sasha. Yeah, I remember that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but we in the business remember if it won an award or if it made money. And sometimes they both don't do the same thing, but that's what you're striving for, is winning the favor of the people and making money. So, and then I was in London and I got a NDA to sign about somebody suggesting that I would be a good character for this movie. So then I got a call from Sasha's producer, and they said, no, that's not really what we want. We want to talk to you about making this movie with him. I says, well, what are we talking about? And I don't know why they called me instead of my management or something, but they called me, and it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm in London. And they said it's a big movie that he's doing, and it's a small part for me and him to play Azamat and Borat. And I said, he was supposed to be sent to a retreat and write Borat 2. And Monica Levinson said to me, there is no Borat 2, and there will never be a Borat 2. I says, well, that's what I'm waiting for. How much time do you need me, and what are you offering me? And she said, we don't need you for a lot of time. It's a very small thing. We don't need you, maybe a month. I said, well, a month? That's a movie. But okay. And then she offered me money, and I declined. So that was not enough money for me. And I thought it was kind of disrespectful. And I didn't want to go through the whole thing again. And I'm 120 pounds lighter. So this time, if they convince me they gotta go run naked, it would really be too naked. So no, I understood the film was going to be a politically motivated, uh, to just be negative to Trump, and nobody from the previous is involved. Larry's not directing it. Jay Roach isn't producing it, but so I just thought it wasn't worth doing.
Mhm. Well, hey, Ken, let's rewind a little there. You spoke about that legendary hotel scene, and I have to ask you about that scene. The nude fight throughout the room and the hotel lobby, and ultimately the conference. So much respect to you and Sasha for pulling that off. It is one of those laugh out loud scenes that you just can't forget for all the right and the wrong reasons. Break that down for us, Ken. What was it? Was it a one shot thing? Did you guys rehearse what you guys were going to do? What was the mindset going into
Don't have much
the shoot?
rehearsal with this kind of stuff. Now, we were in Dallas, and in Dallas, we went through a toll. And when we got to the toll, the lady said 75 cents. And he started screaming, and you're taking money from us, and you're the communist government, and all of this stuff. And we had a car in front of us that's taping all this. This lady, it was like a scene out of The Godfather. She closed the door and got onto the ground and took the phone with her. So you can see that you don't see her head anymore, but she's on the phone. So we just got the hell out of there because obviously she's calling the cops or something. And if he gets arrested, he's on a work visa. So we couldn't get him arrested. At night, the secret, I think it was a Secret Service that came, or FBI came to the hotel. So what are you guys doing? We're making a movie. They had a copy of the license on the ice cream truck, and they ran it, and they found out it was being leased by 20th Century Fox, and Fox says it's our guys over there. So they came and they said, what are you guys doing? And the lady was scared, and they told us, don't do things like that anymore. So we had arranged to run in to an engineers conference.
It's a conference, yeah.
Okay, but that wasn't the one you saw. This was a bunch
Okay.
of engineers in Dallas, and we ran in. All I remember is Larry saying, go through those two black doors and go to the stage. So we went in, and we saw all these people, engineer, all dressed casually, and they're sitting on these at their desk. It's just like a high school desk, with the thing in front of them, and they never even looked at us. They never know nothing. It was just like. So he turned to me and he said, fuck it, let's go. And we walked out of there like we were wearing suits. We just calmly walked out. And then the decision was made. We have to do it somewhere that has women, children, and formal wear because it didn't look good here. So we did it in 3 different hotels. The lobby was one hotel, and then they kicked us out. And then the fight, the naked fight in the room, I have to tell you, that was choreographed. And the stunt guy went downstairs after the whole thing was over. He went downstairs and he came back up, knocked on my door, and gave me a hat and said, "You're an official stuntman now." And they broke the vase on my head, the TV, all of those were stunts. Then the next was the elevator scene, and if you look at the elevator scene closely, you'll see that I'm on the left, he's on the right, and there's only one camera guy, so he grabs my hand and puts me back next to him. And there's this guy in the elevator, who's like just standing there. It's
I
great
remember that. Yeah.
comedy, but he's like,
You just
and
still
his
face
door's
like a
open
rock.
and he
He's
went.
just, yeah.
But there were signs on every floor that if you get into this elevator or if you go to the ballroom. So then, when the fight was done, now we went to La Jolla to run into a brokers convention, real estate. So we broke into that. I told him, don't run so fast. You're skinny. You're chasing me. Don't run so fast. I fell on the way going, and he fell on top of me. And then we got up and we went toward the stage. And a guy that I knew that was one of our security, he came and he picked up Sasha and said, "You're under arrest" and stuff. And they took him. But I knew he's one of our guys.
Gotcha.
Now, there's two house detectives. They come, they got me on both arms. They take me outside the banquet room. And I'm thinking, I hope somebody knows. So I see the cameraman walk by. He didn't acknowledge me, but he knew I was having a problem. And then the director walked by. And so, okay, we'll have to we're going to fix this. So some guy walks up to the two cops. He's dressed with the suit and everything. And he says, "Okay, La Jolla Police Department, I'll take him." And he grabbed me by the arm and he said, "When we get to the bottom of the steps, get into that van." And I went, "Who are you? Are you the Lone Ranger?" He said, "Yes." They put me in the van, and a guy named Ruben drove the van to the train station because we had no idea where to go, because nobody made the, "Hey, your clothes are going to be here," or "Go here to change." We got the whole scene done, but now I'm naked in a van at the train station. So this somebody's going to get arrested. We stayed at the train station for 45 minutes, and then they radioed us that it's all clear. So I was able to go back and get dressed. About, I don't know, a year, 8 months after that, I had a sandwich shop called The Dip, and we made French dip sandwiches in Van Nuys. And this kid comes up and he goes, "I want a roast beef." And I went, "What?" He says, "I've seen you naked." And I thought, oh, they're showing a screening or somebody, you've seen it. He says, "No, my father's a broker. I was there." So I gave him the sandwich and I said, "Go on, here, you don't have to pay for it. Just go. Just go."
That's hilarious. And the fact that I'm just so surprised that no one was locked up behind bars during that scene. It's crazy to think that. And Ken, especially when you're in a movie like this, where there is the potential of things going sideways, was there any protocols that were in place if that were to happen?
The only thing was, make sure he doesn't get arrested. That was it. Another time, we were doing a reenactment of a plantation, and this white lady and her husband owned the plantation, and Sasha's yelling at this kid who is participating in that. And he tells him, he says, "No, man, listen, I work at McDonald's. I'm just doing this for history class and stuff." And Sasha's still making it. "How could you do this to these people? How can you make them do this? How can you do this?" And so the lady, she called her husband and said, "This guy's yelling at me, and they have all these cameras here." And so the husband comes, and the husband's brother is the sheriff of the town. So all the yelling and screaming is going on. He calls his brother. As soon as he calls his brother, Larry and everyone says, "Get in the van, get the hell out of here." We got into the van, we drove. Now, this ice cream truck is originally a mail truck to
Yeah, it
deliver
looks like
mail.
one. Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't go over 55 miles an hour. So we're going at its highest speed through miles and miles of cotton. And then we found our truck who was coming to meet with us. And he got the ice cream van onto the flatbed. And then we got into the cab and he said, no, 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 you guys get out. They're looking for you guys. So me and Sasha stood in a plantation with a bunch of cotton stuff standing there waiting for somebody else to come pick us up. So now that somebody else comes, picks us up, one of the crew guys, and we're going back to New Orleans or Louisiana. Well, we get to the bridge and they have pulled over everybody. And we see that they've pulled over the ice cream truck that was on top of our flatbed. They are searching it for us. And we're cracking up because we got our heads down in the car looking at what they're doing. And like, seriously, do they expect me to fit my ass in that little thing that they're looking at? I couldn't physically, my two legs would be sticking out. We were cracking up and they couldn't find us. And we went back to the hotel. And the idea is don't get them arrested. So we had first AD and the lady Monica that I was just talking about. Both of them were detained by the New York Police Department for 17 hours until they could call Fox here and find out the truth of what they were saying, that we're doing a movie, because they thought this doesn't make sense. So, but it didn't make sense because that was the movie. But everything was real. And that was the thing. I went and I asked a few people that I trust on Bruno. And they're like, come on, Ken. It's all right. So ours was really guerrilla. Really
Well,
guerrilla.
you can tell. You can tell in some of those scenes, some of that natural reactions, and whether it's Sasha's or yours or all these extras that are in these, like, real people that are in these shots, and they're like, who are these two people
that one guy
that are
that
from?
got so upset that Sasha tried to kiss him in the subway. He was kissing him. Now, Middle Eastern people, come on.
Yeah.
There's 1-1, and now there's 1-1 and back to 1, and it's Armenian goodbyes are 15, 20 minutes. So I understand, but it was a great experience. It was the only other time I had a ride like that was with the artist. That was and totally different, intellectual, silent film, comedy, but not run around naked. So they were both so different, yet people really liked them both because of the different stuff. And for me, it was great because I went through the ride again. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many times you get that ride. So I was happy to get it the second time. It's awesome. So going to con, doing all the publicity, it was great.
I know we touched upon this a little earlier, but I'm going to dig a little deeper into some of your thoughts about the sequel that came out last year. Now, personally, I did like the film, but of course it was nowhere in the same stratosphere as the first one, because once the genie's out of the bottle, you can't really duplicate or replicate what really happened with the first one. Personally, I thought it was a missed opportunity, Ken, by not having you in the movie. Have you seen the film yourself?
Yes.
What do you think of it?
I didn't laugh. I really didn't laugh. And I was with somebody and we watched the movie, and I didn't like the daughter-father thing. That was
interesting.
over my perversion of my head. That was too much. The daughter, and then when she was dancing, I thought it was an animal that had connected with her, but it was his exaggeration of hair and blood. I just thought it was, and I didn't want to put down, I didn't want to get into a political thing. And I was not treated very well. So why the hell would I do it again?
Mm-hmm. What did you
Plus,
think of
they
what
were not
happened?
giving me I don't want to say the figure, but it was less than $200,000 to be in this
Mm-hmm.
movie. And I was promised to do 2, and they said there's never going to be a 2. And I said, okay, then I'm going to pass unless, and they, they call my agent and listen, I'm a businessman. And if they had given me the respect of a businessman, we could have done something. But the it was so low, there's nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
It was so low, but where are you going? I mean, legitimately, we're talking about $500,000 or $1 million.
Sure.
Okay. And I'm a slut. I would have listened. But if being treated like shit and then being paid like shit, I didn't feel bad. And right now, it's 2 years of no work. So could I have used the money? Yeah. And my wife was alive when I rejected the offer. And she was quite supportive because of the way that it all went down. So no, I didn't, I wasn't offered a piece of either the first one or the second one. I have never been to his house. I have never eaten on the same table. I don't know his 3 children. And his mother and his father and his brother are exceptionally wonderful people. You get,
Mm-hmm.
they liked me. His mother told me when we went for the premiere in London, his mother told me he called me at 3:00 my time in the morning to tell me he met Azamat Bagatov. I said, wow, that's cool. But his brother, Aaron, very, very nice guy. And his father, the little short, funny guy. He's the one with the sense of humor. But if because the first movie, okay, I was nobody. I had done 120 different appearances, but I was nobody. So now I'm on a train with Armand Desante and Stephen Bauer. We're talking about a scene, and these guys are calling me, and I felt no, I'm not sad that I didn't take it, even though I would love the money right now. But no. Ask me another question. See, that's the problem, is I don't lie. And believe me, they want me to keep my mouth shut, but it's very hard because I'm old. And
Well,
when
hey,
you're
let
old,
me
you
ask you
think,
another question, Ken. What did you
okay,
think? What did you think, like, what happened to your character in the movie? They kind of turned him into a chair and they kind of gutted him out and just made him into that. Do you think there was like
that's small? That's small. That's not fair. Let's get into your screen. Nah, I mean, they did what they, had to do. I don't care. I didn't think the movie was, I thought it was half as funny as the first one. Half. Because both people weren't there. But listen, everybody to each his own. I hope him great success. Apparently he moved. He lives in Australia now. I don't know. That's what I heard. But really, never been invited over. Never heard the word thank you. Hey, that was great. Nothing. So why for a couple bucks? Now, I'm honest with you. If it had started at 500,000 and went to 1,000,000 or something, yeah. But where they were at, it was so far down that you would sound mentally crazy if you mentioned the correct figure. They're, wow, you know. So ask me another question.
Well, in your words, what's the legacy of Borat? The original, like, let's stick to the original for this part. Do you think that 15 years from now, it's going to be looked back the same way we're looking back at it right now in terms of this paradigm shifting movie with a genius like Sasha and then yourself as well in the movie?
Do you know why? Because every time somebody new comes up and says Borat, they're 15 years old. It's the new generation. And for some reason, it was fortunately so funny that people that are in their 30s and 40s are saying, yeah, you got to watch that. I've already seen it 15 times. Go watch it. It's funny. And I've got a new generation of fans. And then the addition of Cobra Kai is I'm a famous 15-year-old. So,
well, hey, that's like the positivity of streaming now, right? Because nowadays you can watch anything on the big screen. You can watch it on your phone. Now we're into the binge culture where you can watch all sorts of things, right?
Is that good or is that bad? You know,
it's tough. It's tough to say, right?
Before you were born, we were begging our parents to go from a 16-inch to a 19-inch TV, to go from a black and white to a color. And it was a big deal. Now, again, you want me to watch my whole movie on this thing, the new generation, but it works. I don't know if a year from now, if it's going to be just in the movie theaters again, because I've heard a couple of them where this is only going to be in the movie theaters. So even if it's in the movie theaters for 2 or 3 weeks, it gives you that we're an adult film. But streaming is the way to go now.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
one of the reasons we called the thing COINFLIX, because it's like Netflix. So, and we've already got association with 2 different studios, and we've got an association with a partnership with rental houses. So who knows? We've got a studio that we're working with in Dominican Republic. We've got one in North Carolina, and we're working on one in Armenia. So, and it's all due to the coin and boredom. Try to make something happen. I have a lot of friends that they do not have the clout to get their script to the right people. And it's hard for us because if I give you a script, or if I tell you this guy's the best interviewer of the world, you got to do an interview with him, and what I say doesn't come true, then nobody's going to take my call anymore. So it's really, really important that whoever we recommend knows what they're doing. And if you do, it's great. This is a great medium. How did you come up with the podcast idea? I'm going to interview you.
Well, the kind of how you mentioned, my love of movies growing up, the earliest memory that I have is watching Titanic in a movie theater with my family, or me having older brothers. They were wildly into movies and TV shows, and that kind of passed along to me and my younger brother. And just there's something about it, Ken, that not everyone can truly understand. Someone that truly loves this medium, the creative arts, you can get rejected 100 times, but that one yes, people just don't understand the high of that one yes, unless this isn't something you're truly passionate about and something you truly love. And to me, I don't know if I ever wanted to be an actor, but I always knew I wanted to be a part of this medium in some way, shape, or form. And I love chatting with people. I love chatting with people that have inspired me. And that's largely, Ken, you're a big part of that. And I find that having a conversation with someone, it just really humanizes people. I
Yeah.
think people that aren't in the industry, they don't realize that Ken Davitian's a human being. Or Sasha Baron Cohen, he's a genius. He's a comedic legend. He's a
But
human
you're
being
getting
at
the
the end of the
hook.
day.
You're
He's
getting the hook. This is what
yeah,
we call the hook.
yeah.
Okay. Now, if you want to be in front of a camera, you've got to go learn that part. But the hard part is being behind the camera,
Oh
being a
yeah.
director, a writer. That's actual work. Uh, we go out and they go say something. You say something, and they go back in your trailer so you don't get hurt because we want you to come out here and say something again. Otherwise, go do whatever you want to do. No, I think the business is really one of the last things that America has control of still, and it still comes out good so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like doing it. So what are you gonna do?
Well, Ken, the goal is to just keep pushing this forward and one day be one of the biggest media hosts in the world. As you like that's like you said, right? You got to dream big. You can't
Yeah,
just shoot for just this or that. If you have drive and determination and you continue to work hard in whether it's in this medium or any walk of life,
anything.
you,
If you do those three things in anything,
yeah,
you'll be successful. And the
absolutely.
problem is people don't want to put in the effort.
Yeah. Really don't. And I think that's a big I don't want to say because I'm part of that millennial group that we just don't want to work as hard and whatnot, because I do know a lot of people that do, but at the same time nowadays everyone just wants to go viral. They just want to have that one thing that just breaks out. But
Yeah,
again, if you look at everyone that's largely in this industry, what's the percentage of people that have actually had that just one thing and then they just blew up out of nowhere and it was only that one thing, right? Like think about it. There's a lot of years and a lot of months and a lot of hours of unwatched footage or unwatched struggle that people like yourself, people like myself, people in the industry go through before people just see the final product, right?
they they have their excuses, and everybody comes up with one just to protect themselves instead of doing the work and getting up and dusting yourself off and going again. I have often compared the yes to a wonderful sexual experience. That's how good a yes is when you get the yes. And the rejection is rejection. And it's funny. You don't want to go ask a girl out because you're going to get rejected. And I'm already getting rejected 37 times at the studio. I don't need number 38 to get me rejected. And this is this business. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be able to go through it and do it and get to the next one. It's always the next one because that's how we determine if you're going to be alive or dead.
Well, that's true. Well, hey, wise words of wisdom from Ken Davitian himself. As we wrap up with the great Ken Davitian, it is now time for a segment I call the final act. Ken, I'm going to ask you 10 rapid fire questions about your likes, your dislikes, and I just want the first word that comes to your mind. You up for it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, Ken, here's the catch. We're going to give you 1 minute to try to get through all of them. You up for it?
Oh, okay.
You know what? Throughout this interview, I've found out that you're quite the honest man. So I look forward to hearing your answers about these questions that I have here. All
Yeah, but
right.
I don't talk small. I talk for a long time. So I don't know if a minute's going to do it, but go ahead.
You know
Let's
what?
try.
We'll
Give me
try
a
it
minute,
if you
30 seconds.
minute 30. You know what? We'll give you 2 minutes. How about that, Ken? I'll bend the rules for you.
Oh, I can do anything.
Movies or TV shows?
TV shows,
Theater or watch at home?
theater,
Favorite movie?
Godfather.
Favorite TV show?
Oh, Oh God, there's a lot of them.
All right,
A
I'll give
lot
you a
of them.
pass on that. Well, how about this one? Favorite trilogy not named The Godfather.
Okay, Mr. Mayfair,
All right, there you
my
go.
movie. They told me it's a trilogy.
All right. One sequel better than the original. I'll let you have this one. I know what you're going to say. You can have it.
Okay, 2 instead of 3. Okay,
Summer
but
or
still
fall?
3 was great.
Yeah, fair. That's fair. We'll leave that one there. Summer or fall?
Fall.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
What's your
Sorry.
favorite? It makes the two of us, man. Makes the two of us. What's your favorite role you've played?
Oh, how can I not? Favorite role has to be Azamat Bagatov because of how it created a new universe for me and a new life. So yeah, I have to say that. I have to respect that part in that movie that did this to me.
All right.
Next,
Lastly, describe Azamat Bagatov in one word.
confused. I was
Confused.
going for
Yeah.
confused or frustrated, and I thought you have to know what you're frustrated about, and he doesn't. He's just confused.
Well, bam, Ken, you got through all 10 questions. And as always, we love you for your honesty and we love you for your candidness. Ken, like, thank you so much for being a guest on the show today. And thank you for your contributions to the creative arts.
If I was a inspiration to you, I have to tell you, you've been an inspiration to interviewing, but go do more. Go do more. There's no reason why you can't be Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, Ken, that truly means the world to me. Borat's one of my all-time favorite movies, and you play a big part in creating that love I have for that film. Your kind words have truly touched me. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to having you back on the show to discuss your next project.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.